Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn home economics. Today, paying for electricity, and after we've done it, we're gonna do morning stretching. And if you participate in the morning stretching, it is at your own risk. And this is more or less about how it is calculated, the joules and the power and electricity cost. This is more physics or math. This is not really how to pay it. Paying for electricity. The units on an electricity bill and measured by an electricity meter are kilowatt hours. Okay, the unit used. A unit is, for example, a meter. I cannot just say the distance is 4. Now what? 4 miles, kilometers, meter. So there has to be a unit, and that's just the name for a unit. And the one on the electricity bill and on the electricity meter is in kilowatt hours. So not in joule or in watt, but in kilowatt hours. Now I don't know for which country, so if you find a number without something written behind it, it doesn't have to be in kilowatt hours. But they say no in kilowatt hours. And this is more physics than housekeeping, so keep it in mind. The cost of each unit of electricity varies. The electricity bill is calculated by working out the number of units used and multiplying by the cost of a unit. That makes sense. The electricity bill is calculated by working out the number of units used and multiplied with the cost of units. So if you have used 5 times the unit, you have to pay 5 times the cost of 1 unit. If you buy 4 breads, you have to pay 4 times the price of 1 bread. So you need to know what costs 1 bread, £1, and if you buy 4, it costs 4 times £1, £4. The cost of electrical energy used equals the power in kilowatt, multiplied with the time in hours, multiplied with cost of 1 unit. Or the cost equals the number of kilowatt. Power in Now, there's a difference between kilowatt and kilowatt hour. That makes sense, there's a difference, but we don't know so far what. Okay, or cost equals the number of kilowatt hours used multiplied with the cost of 1 unit. Example, the 800 watt toaster in the diagram is used for half an hour and the cost of a unit is 12 pence. The cost equals 0.8 kilowatt multiplied with a half hour, 0.5, multiplied with 12 pence per kilowatt hour. And the cost are 4.8 pence. Or 5 pence. Okay, let's try to understand. But if we come to the same result, what we calculate. The 800 watt toaster. 800 watt seems to be the same as 800 kilowatt. But not kilowatt hours. Okay, that is interesting. Because we were wondering about how to calculate watt in kilowatt hours, or joules in kilowatt hours, in previous parts in electrical engineering. Now 0.8 kilowatt, 800 watt. We have to take that in kilowatt. Do they tell us? We can either calculate kilowatt times the time times the cost, or kilowatt hour times the cost of per unit. Now we are not so lucky and have it in kilowatt, so we have to take the first formula, and that is kilowatt, 0.8. 800 watt seems to be certain as 0.8 kilowatt. That makes sense. Kilo means 1000, so 800 watt are 0.8 of 1000, 0.8 kilowatt. Multiplied with 0.5 hours for half an hour. We don't have kilowatt hours. The first formula, power in kilowatt, 0.8 kilowatt. Multiplied with the time in hours, half an hour are 0.5 hours. Multiplied with the cost of 1 unit. And these are 12 pence. What was given in the example? The 800 watt toaster in the diagram is used for half an hour, and the cost of a unit is 12 pence. Okay, the 12 pence should we understand, so it's not directly said in the... I want to read it again if it is said in specific. The 800 watt toaster in the diagram is used for half an hour, and the cost of a unit is 12 pence. It is understandable from the context from the previous sentences that the 12 pence are for the unit of kilowatt, but in the example we're using watt, so that could lead to a problem if someone is not working accurately and giving always these things. But we are just here not to answer that question. We are here to learn about how to calculate what it costs. And we understand what I mean. 0.8 kilowatt times 0.5 hours times 12 pence per kilowatt hour. How does one calculate 12 pence per kilowatt hour? Let's look if we can calculate it in the head. 0.8 kilowatt times 0.5. That means that thing uses during that half hour 0.4 kilowatt per half. 0.8 in 1 hour, so 0.4 in half an hour. And the thing costs 12 pence per kilowatt hour. Now if it were 10, we could now calculate 0.4 kilowatt do we have needed times 10, and 0.4 times 10 is, yes, 4. Now it is, I'm a bit confused. Yes, 10 times a half is 4, but I understand it, but I try to get it mathematically correct. 10 times 0.4 becomes 4. If it would be divided by 0.5, then it would become 20. Okay, I'm mathematically a little bit confused, but it is clear that we having used half a kilowatt hour, one full cost 12, we having used a half, so 6. Now we're coming on to 4.8. Where did we round it? It is 0.8 kilowatt hours, so 0.4 kilowatt do we need? 0.4. And one full cost 12. Now, how do we come now to 4.8? 0.4 kilowatt. How much does 0.4 kilowatt cost? It makes sense. I get it with the 12. We said 12 times 0.4, but why 12 times 0.4? Half a kilowatt hour. If it would cost 10 pence, and we have used a half, then you would have to pay 5 pence. Now, but we have used only 0.4, so we have to pay only a little bit less. Ten divided by 4, by 2.2. No, it is not true. No, but it is 0.4 and it's a 12 pence per kilowatt hour. 12, not 10. How do we come now to 4.8? Where did we make a mistake? We had here something else. Something similar. Do we have to go with somewhere down? Why are 0.4 hours by 12 pence 4.8 pence in total? I want to calculate it. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now by 4 is 4, but it is 3. Now why is it not a third? Because we're paying 10 pence per kilowatt hour. But 0.4 times 12? Yes, that is true. These are 48. So 4.8 pence. But why? I don't understand it. Why? I'm making something wrong. I get it if I think, but I want to understand it mathematically. 0.4, it has to be multiplied with 12. Because an hour has 60 minutes. Now, 0.4 hour, no, 0.4 kilowatt per hour. Why not just a third now? This is what I don't get. If a whole kilowatt hour costs 12, why do not 0.4? Because 0.4 would be to 12. This is my mistake. 0.4, if it would be to 12, it would be 3 times. But it has to be to 10. Now we're having still to calculate 10 through the 0.4. 10 to. What is 10 divided by 4? It is 2 less 2. It is 2.5. What is 12 divided by 2.5? It could be 4.8. But I can't do it in my head. Let's make a little fun game. I'm going to look into the calculator what 10 divided by 12 divided by 2.5 is. Can we really not do it? What is 5 times 2.5? Is that 10 and 2.5. We've got 12. What is 12 now? Okay, we're going to come back and we're basically mathematically stuck. I get it. I'm all the time mixing up the hours because we're going to 60 minutes and to the 10. Hours have 60 minutes and the kilowatt hour it is half an hour, but it is just 30 minutes and there the error comes. It is 0.4 hours, 0.4 kilowatt. And for every kilowatt we're paying 12 pence. And we don't have to make it full to the 12 kilowatt. We have to divide 10 by, we're going to go to the next part where we're going to use a calculator. If you're here for trying to figure it out, you can go directly to the next video. We will do now here the morning stretching. If you participate in the morning stretching, that's the honors. We are doing forward shoulder circles. We are back with the shoulders up, in front, and down. And the last one. And up backwards. That's the last one. And now we are breathing in, lifting the shoulders up. And out with the shoulders down. Again, in the shoulders up. And out with the shoulders down. And now breathe in, lift the arms up. We're doing the apple plug up. Reach high. Pretend to take an apple, hanging high on an apple branch, to turn it a bit around, and plug it. And last 2 times. And now we're doing the shifter. Legs wide apart, arms up to a T, breathing in. And the shoulder. And out we're shifting over to one side. Only with the upper part. Breathing in. And out to the other side. Again in. And out. Again in. And out. And again in. And out in onto our knees. We're doing the buffalo fighting in Singer. Breathe in. And out one shoulder in front. Breathing in the shoulder back. Out the other shoulder in front. And in the shoulder back. Out the shoulder in front. In. And out. And again in. Out of hanging down. Breathe in. And out we go over to one leg. Breathe in. Out over to the other leg. Breathe in. Out into the middle. Breathe in. And out we're coming slowly round back up, making it on top of backwards, shoulder roll. And when we're gonna pose, the torso pointing to the outside, leaving only in the space between the heels. We'll be leaving in and lifting the arms up. And breathe out, we're sinking down, we're placing the elbows against the inside of the knees, and breathe in and straighten up the back. And out we come with the back up. Breathe in again. And out we down. And breathing in and straight up the back. And out another time to the back up. Breathe in. And out and down to the back. And now breathe in. And out we're coming with a crown of the head, first up. and the arms down. And we're closing the legs wide apart, breathing in. And out. Again in. Out. And the last one, breathe in. And out. Again in. Out. Breathe in. Close the legs. And out. That was a morning stretching. I thank you very much, and until next time.